just gonna be in my head for like 5 minutes. I mean, I'm gonna be in my head for 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yep.
We'll be starting in about 10 minutes. If anybody has anything they want to address beforehand, and by the way, we'll be doing. Make sure. Can you guys, if you hover over like this chat, can you see the little button that says "Open Chat"? Is it a thing for you?
I don't see it.
If you can, please say something in there because we'll be having the for you guys to like raise your hand to speak or whatever in there. Sweet. If anybody, like at any point when we start taking questions and things like that, you should see on the bottom of the actual chat thing like a little hand button. If you want to click that, that's how we'll bring you up on the stage. It's basically your way of raising your hand, like, I want to talk, I want to talk. Yeah, I saw you there, Michael. I can also just, I believe, just invite you to stage. I don't know how the hell that works, though. Can I do that? Invite to speak, I can't do that. If you get some folks rocking here, we'll be good to go. I don't know if Barry and Ernest are here, but who wants to volunteer for taking notes today?
Barry would be better at that than me. Probably.
Is Barry here?
You're asking a French dyslexic fuck to take notes.
Mm.
Actually, even better, let's put... Chill, you like taking notes? Bam.
Oh, Chill's got his hand raised.
Oh, I raised his hand for him. He just has to accept it. I know he's here. Come on, Chill.
He might not be here. You never know.
Come on! I know he is. He is standing in front of me right here. Well, hello.
The Department of Corrections is now all old men.
That's right, we're now in session. Your Honorable Hawthorne presiding. That's
Oh
right.
God. The Honorable Hawthorne. Could you imagine
Yeah, like
the
a
mullet
meeting.
motherfucker being a judge in the state of San Andreas? I feel like he would turn his robes into cut off shorts and he'd walk into the courtroom and all you'd see is that guy up there going, "Well, hell, brother, you fucking did
I
it."
have,
Knight says I leave the city.
I have an idea.
What's that?
Which one of you down there want to take notes? Come on now, raise your hand. Don't be shy.
He raised his hand. It looked
I
like it.
personally like to nominate Annalena O'Connor.
Forward you guys a copy of my D&D
Oh,
notes.
Chill is here with us.
They cannot hear you, sweetheart, but they're hearing you through me.
Yeah. I can give them my
Tell us we said
D&D
hello.
notes. And if they approve, then I'll take notes.
What the hell? Is she around?
Jesus Christ. She's right behind me, yeah?
Well, who are we talking about here?
The Rosalina.
Where is she? Is she in here?
Yeah, she's in the chat.
Bam. Well, now she's above. She can come speak. Chill. If you are having issues, as I now just seen the chat box in the meeting
What
room, go ahead. Get out of here. Get. I just moved him. There we go. Your beautiful. Your missus there can take notes for me. She's so kind. I appreciate you. I will give you
I don't
one
wanna
free
raise.
cigar.
Ah! I don't smoke.
I will
Get
give
it?
you a steak and frites.
I know there's more of us here. Yeah, we got DJ.
Pretty good.
We got Chill.
DJ Chill,
Sean.
Michael, Knight. Where the hell is Nico?
Oh, Nico's at work.
Fuck.
So is, no, like, he's from the land down under, so he's, you know,
Yeah. It's
him
bright
and Brian
and
both are at work. It's like 10:30 in the morning for them.
Yeah. Okay. We're
Fucker.
missing. What's his name? You know who I'm talking
Temple.
about.
Temple would be, Marty's other character. I think T-Pain's on LOA, but I'm gonna ping him anyway.
Gary.
Oh, yeah, fuck, right. Where is
Boone.
Mr. Daniel Boone?
That's right, Bone. That's who it is. Superintendent David Bone. Thank you. I forgot his name.
Boone.
Oh, Boone.
Bone's his nickname.
Where the hell is Wood?
No, I'm gonna go fucking...
Where's Arrow? Unacceptable. Besides that, we're all here. Hey. Let's get settled in. We still have like 5 minutes. I'd be right back. I'm gonna think of a loop.
I'm gonna go ahead and push the SOP into the into this meeting room chat here. Please do feel free to go ahead and open it and start getting. We're gonna go over it. That's pretty much the big deal here, as we're going over the SOP as well as you know, some additional little changes and things like that. And we're gonna run the department a little differently than what others are used to. So we're gonna go over some changes and things like that. But feel free to go ahead and start taking a peeksies at that. And feel free to tell me if that SOP is ass, by the way. You know, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I only worked on it for 2 weeks. For the record, though, genuinely, if you see anything issues with the SOP, please do point it out so I can fix it.
You misspelled your name.
I did not misspell my name. Did I? No fucking shot I misspelled my name. I did not. I'm gonna fucking... It is a lot of words, yes. A lot more than some other SOPs in circulation around this this city. Return from whatever it is they're doing. Not gonna do a pop quiz. That's rude. So before we go into this, some changes. First of all, our jobs will be fixed soon. I sent them to Estrella, so he's updating them. We will have the new pay grades as well as fixed pay. We're not gonna mention that you guys on the low end are being paid like double what the starting pay of a deputy and an officer is. We're just gonna, you know, hope they don't acknowledge that. But the guys on the higher end, we're gonna get our pays fixed because we're a little low up here. So that'll be fixed. The DOC has had some stuff renamed. As far as internal affairs is still internal affairs, the human resources team is now going to be known as the professional standards division, or the office of professional standards. My apologies. And their individual, instead of being a superintendent, will now be a chief, as well as Rosie is going to be a chief rather than a superintendent as well. Further than that, I believe that's pretty much the only renaming we did. Oh, that's right. Special agent and senior agent. Those are for the senior agent for parole operations. That'll be your lead parole officer. And then you'll have special agent for the internal affairs guys. Other than that, on to the big juicy part here. If you haven't already, there's the SOP is in the meeting room chat. Go ahead and pull it up. We're gonna go over this while we talk about it, so we'll be good to go. I'm gonna skip past the fluff up here, the mission statement and all that.
Senior Agent DJ Good.
So we're not gonna cover every aspect of this document tonight, just for the sole reason that this is a big document. And so it's kind of gonna be, you know, I'm gonna share my screen here while we go over this so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at here. So the big thing we are gonna do, we're still not gonna be as sticks in the mud as the law enforcement are, in the sense that, like, you know, a misdemeanor charge isn't gonna see you fired from the DOC directly off rip. There'd be, you know, some kind of like, hey, what happened kind of deals, especially with the highway patrol. Hell, the highway patrol threatened to arrest me the other day. Fuck those guys. Just kidding. But am I? You never know. The big thing here, this paragraph basically says, don't be a jackass. That is essentially what it wraps up to be. Don't be caught robbing fucking banks, murdering people, anything of that. Oh yeah, fucking here. I really thought there was gonna be more of you here. We're just gonna bring you all up here.
I'm back.
Honestly, there's only fucking 8 of us.
Yeah, it's gone, ladies.
No.
Yeah, I really thought there was gonna be more of you.
And I got 4th and Q. I got King in front of me, Bones, and then
what you're telling me is I should F8 quit and then rejoin just so you go down to 5?
It's fine with me.
Yes.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
And I'm gonna Black Lantern. It's been open in a couple days. So.
I'm sad because they said they fixed the new shops and made my cigar stackable. None of it works at my store. My cigar not stackable. My boss menu's not there.
Hey, why can't we search people?
Oh yeah,
That's being
I was gonna
that's
bring that
being
up.
fixed.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
lockers.
We need lockers.
That's are being fixed. Just let me finish my meeting. And once we get done with the chat here, because you guys are coming into stuff that's been noted for like 2 weeks now. So let me talk what we're getting done, and then you fucking go for it, big dog. Anyway, this whole chapter 3, essentially just says don't be an asshole. You know what I mean? Be nice to everybody as far as like, keep some form of cordialness. Don't be fucking screaming match with officers, deputies, whatever the fucking highway patrol are calling themselves. Don't go ham. You know what I mean? The other thing too is if you get 2 conflicting orders, follow the new ones with the supervisor that issues the conflicting order. It's his fault if you fuck shit up. Disciplinary actions. This is the important stuff you guys need to know. This is pretty much the steps that we're gonna take whenever you get pulled into to an IA investigation, anything of that nature. So depending on severity, you may skip some steps here. You may, whatever. But the general rule of thumb, you get a oral reprimand first, which is essentially just, hey, not cool. And then you get a written reprimand, which is me handing you a piece of paper, or more accurately, Rosie handing you a piece of paper that says, hey man, we said that's not cool. Then you get demoted. And this is kind of interchangeable. You can either get demoted or relieved from duty, depending on the severity. If it's something like, I don't know, you keep beating the fuck out of prisoners, and it's like, do it, you know what I mean? We all do it. But I'm talking about like you're on fucking SIU level where every prisoner you talk to you beat the absolute shit out of, and they continue to make IA complaints, you're gonna get demoted. Versus if it's something like a first offense, you'll get suspended rather than demotion. But the general step up from suspensions to demotion, this is kind of interchangeable. The last step is to fire you. I'm not gonna jump straight to you're fired. Get out of here. The administration, the only people in the whole fucking DOC who can actually tell you, you are like issue these punishments, are going to be the Office of Internal Affairs. This needs to be changed, or any high command ranking individual within the DOC. So myself, Ernest, Nico, or Brian can supersede the Office of Internal Affairs and just go, hey, listen here, fuckface, you're being dumb. You do have the right to appeal any decision made by the Office of Internal Affairs. So if you feel like you got, the short end of the stick, or your IA investigator was an asshole and you don't think they really listened to you, you have 7 calendar days past the point that it was issued to basically write a little memo and submit to the Office of Personnel Services, which is what the HR team has been done to appeal. And that will take that strike off your record if they find that you did, whatever. Communications, we're going to redo the way we've done the radio, especially as we get more people. I mean, we had what was it, 8 COs on the other night, and so especially as we start to see more of you in city and doing things, we're going to lock down our radio communications. So this is important. Make sure that you read this. I have discovered a way to do tones, and so we're going to see tones on the DOC side. The SD and PD can suck my asshole. They're not going to get them unless they fucking figure it out themselves. So pretty much this whole paper, or this whole introduction here, just says lock your shit in. Some things you're going to need to know: attention or all call is any serious in progress call, such as fights, potential riots, officers in trouble, things of that nature. Priority tone. That'll be a set, like a steady 2-second tone that you'll hear over the radio. This priority tone supersedes this. And a channel restricted tone. We're going to start using more than just one channel for things, especially as we see the parole and EOU and things like that. Because I've discovered our radio goes as high as 500. So we're just going to claim the entire channel range 400 to 420 and just go, that's ours now. Stay off. That'll be something we signify as well. The channel restricted tone is only to be used by, like, activated by a member of command, so captain or above. And you will see these tones be called out for things like hostage situations in the jail, riots, things of that nature, or if FAT is actively using things and they're rolling down the road, you'll have that channel restricted tone be sound out, so the channel is noted as like, we're using this. The call sign, we're going to maintain for the standard badge number for the generalized CO population. So if you're just working the jail and that's all you came here to do is just to be a CO and interact with prisoners, you're just going to keep using that badge number. But for EOU, FAT, parole officers, things of that nature, we're going to work on and assign you guys a call sign for when you're out and about in the streets. And this is pretty much just tells you, like I said, this is just definition, so you know what I'm talking about when I say it. Self-initiated is any call initiated by the unit as opposed to being directed to responded to by the warden watch commander. So, you know, you go out and you say, I'm going to go on post at block 8 in the pod. Okay, that's a self-initiated assignment. Directed assignment is any call that's directed to be responded to by the warden watch commander. So if fucking Nico comes in and goes, hey, you go do this, it's a directed assignment. That's pretty much your panic button, which we are getting. And then OSD, these are something we're trying out on the DOC side because the Sheriff's Department refuses to do it, and I think it's pretty neat. We're going to do the Officer Safety Dispatcher. So when we have especially as we grow, this is something that will be happening in the future primarily. You will have your a CEO whose whole job, outside of working the jail, of course, he can be assigned to this, is to basically dispatch for the jail. So, you know, when we get CEOs going, hey, I'm on whatever, you know, in block 4, we've got a fight potential break off. The dispatch will call out and determine, you know, which units are where and who can easily respond. And then you'll just radio into that OSD and say, hey, I'm around the corner. Let's, you know, I'm the next floor over, let me go. And that way we don't have an issue that the police department has, which it's not something we're going to see very big in the jail. We're just trying to kind of introduce as much roleplay as we can. But we like to try and prevent everybody rushing to one scene and the rest of the prisoners getting left out. This whole big deal is basically just know what you're going to say before you say it and don't hold regular communication over the radio. So no more, you know, having these side chatters over radio. If you want to have a chatter, well, you know, you can patch over to a different channel. For the most part, it's just keep the air clean. Again, this is all pretty much that self-initiated assignment, so when we get those dispatches in the future, before you call out, make sure that you you know, wait for the dispatch to respond. So something like 149 traffic, you know, dispatcher say 149, and you'll go 149 traffic, block 5, cell 17, performing a toss. And the dispatcher will confirm and know that that's where you are. Even without the dispatchers, we're going to be doing this minus the wait for the dispatchers. So from now on, you know, if you're on, say, you know, block 5 or whatever, and you're getting ready to toss a cell, you'll say something like Unit 149, you know, or just 149 traffic, cell or block 5, cell 17, performing a toss. That way we know where you're doing what you're doing. The big thing that we need to mention is to understand what needs to be over the radio and what doesn't. I don't need the Gettysburg Address being announced over the radio every time you do something. Okay, you know, just like if you find nothing, don't mention it. Just say, hey, unclear. I don't need to hear cell 17 completed, nothing found, back on assignment. You know, whatever. And this pretty much just says respond to the direct assignments further than the ones self-initiated. So the other thing as well that we're going to be doing is increasing our supervisor's ability to actually be a supervisor. So a supervisor is required to be notified in any situation where an SADCR individual is involved in a high priority, so substantial risk of loss or weapons are involved, anytime an officer is injured, anytime an officer is involved in an accident, in any of normal situations that does not fall under a priority situation, one of those OSDs may request a divisional supervisor copy of those details. Priority calls, these are something that these are the big ones. Priority calls are the subset to those, don't everybody go to the one thing. A priority calls an all hands response. So all on-duty corrections officers should be moving towards to assist the incident. So hostage situation, for whatever reason, if shots are fired, barricaded suspect are some examples. Uniforms, so you'll have Class A, B, and C. It's pretty much buttoned with a tie, long sleeve, only the top button undone, long sleeve, and short sleeve buttoned or unbuttoned with a tie. And then we do have additional other uniforms, but for you standard CO guys, these will be what you wear 9 times out of 10. Your standard equipment, pretty much. So the most of you are going to carry handcuffs, radio, flashlight, and your baton, and that'll be it. Standard COs are no longer going to be issued firearms outside of transport duty. So once you get certified for transport, which is easy, it's part of your training, you'll be issued some form of sidearm that is only to be carried when you are going to do transport. And what
I recommend is you keep it in your gun rack.
We don't have gun racks as DLC. We will do those. We're getting them. We don't have them right now.
Okay. Well, once we get them.
Yes.
Because we don't have anywhere to store them within the facility currently.
So I'm gonna go in tonight. We're gonna place some of the MLO storage stuff. I can only place 2 though, so we'll do the best we can with that. But we're gonna get something here. Everybody will wear the concealable body armor. That's essentially just a little Kevlar that's supposed to protect your stabbing. It's what the sheriff's department has, what the police department has. The differences are external load-bearing ballistics vest. That's that big thick riot control vest. You'll be issued this if during a riot or anything of that nature. Pretty much this is all what I've covered here.
This is good.
First aid, every one of you is able to provide basic first aid. Every vehicle, so the buses, the cars, everything will have a standard first aid kit. The other thing too that we're gonna kind of facilitate here, and this is a test phase, we're gonna try out some patrol logs, which doesn't have to be anything specific, just as simple as, hey, I was in and I did this. This is for bonuses. We're gonna talk about that later in this meeting. Because we are going to start doing those. Any and all Medicaid must be relayed to the responding paramedic and treatment turned over to the Department of Health. The subset to this and the exception to this is that after talking with Prince O'Reilly, we are going to have medical certified personnel within the DOC to staff our med wing. Trained by the DOC, everything with them is going to be maintained through the DOC, and they're going to have a little bit more ability than like the police department, sheriff's department's first aid training is. These guys are able to treat sicknesses. They're going to be able to repair, small breaks, things of that nature. Anything requiring surgery, however, is still going to have to go to the hospital. Make sure that you're not calling out for a life flight, but you can ask the Department of Health its importance. Vehicle allotment, we're potentially getting more. This is pretty much just the standard drive what you're allowed to drive, but at the moment everybody's driving Brighams and buses. You are required to follow all traffic laws when using your staff cars. I need to fix that apparently. I fucked that up. The only exception to this is when you're providing transport. The buses do not stop at red lights for very obvious reasons. You know, the buses are equipped with a siren, just flip the siren and keep going. Slick top and unmarked, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It just defines what they are. The unmarks will only be used for IA, personnel services, or command cars. Everybody else is going to rock that slick top marked card. Even then, we're still 50-50 on if we're going to do the unmarks. I need to talk with him about that later. That's pretty much what this is saying. Is the use of unmarks are restricted superintendent and above, with other ranks used to on a case by case. Before we go any further, about halfway through, does anybody have any questions of what we've covered so far?
I was actually going to bring up that situation with the unmarked MPO going to visit PO parolees, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good on that end.
Like I said, something that we're thinking about. We'll see what we can do. Any other questions from anybody?
While we're talking about cars, I do think we should allow tint. Nobody's business who we're driving back.
So you shouldn't be transporting prisoners in your staff car. They should be transported via the bus. We were supposed to get a van, but apparently it didn't get put in with the new update. So the staff cars don't need tint.
You're saying you want us to drive a full-less school bus for one prisoner? Instead of a van?
We were supposed to get a van. They didn't give us our van, is what I'm saying. So until they give us our van, the bus is all we have. Once we get the van, though, this SOP will be updated. Prisoners, if you're only transporting 1 or 2 prisoners, you'll use the van. If you're transporting more than that, you'll use the bus. But until we get our prison van, this is what we're stuck with. Okay. Now, emergency driving, you guys really aren't going to use this. This is a very situational deal for you. Should you end up being shot at, you know, while transporting a bus, this will become pertinent, but you're not responding to calls, so this shouldn't matter to you. But we covered it anyway. The 3 different codes, you've got code 1, which essentially no lights, no sirens. Code 2, lights, no sirens. Code 3, lights and sirens. This could be something if you are, you know, a command member or emergency operations responding to something in the city at the request of the sheriff's department or the police department. Whatever the case may be, you know, you could potentially see a code 3 response to that. But for the most part, you know, we're not going to use the lights and sirens anyway. But this is something we need to carry.
Right on.
This is pretty much legal stuff. Just saying, hey, only shoot your gun if absolutely necessary. If you shoot your gun, immediately alert a supervisor, because we are DOC. We're not just out here blasting people every 5 seconds like a cop. So we will do the additional roleplay surrounding officer-involved shootings and things like that. One, for the good roleplay. It just makes for great interactions and gives it gives an extra twist to things. And 2, just because realistically as a DOC, you shouldn't be fucking shotgun blasting a dude because he threatened you. You know what I mean? Obviously, if they're trying to stab you, you know, it is what it is. Do what you got to do. But we just want to see a more restraint from the DOC as far as shooting people is concerned. This is a big one, though. We specifically are going to enact this. If, for whatever reason, this mainly pertains to the parole officers, EOU, FAT, things of that nature. Don't shoot at like vehicles as they're fleeing unless they're shooting at you. Don't put yourself in the way of the vehicle to attempt to get, like, don't stand in front of the car as it's trying to pull out as that to be your way of justifying to shoot it. Things of that nature. That's pretty much all that says. And this is the big one. Under no circumstances is it allowed to discharge any of your service weapons from a moving vehicle. So don't be driving down the road shooting at the front door like you're a fucking gangbanger. reserve officers, we happen to have one here with us now, but he appears to be deafened. So we'll kind of fill him in on this as well. Reserve officers are open. I need to fix that. I don't know why it's lowercase. Whatever. Anyway, reserve officers are open to people of other departments. That lets them come in as a part-timer within the DOC to serve and assist us with prisoner, inmate selection, things like that. They will come in part-timers because of their ability on the police side. They have to be Officer 2, Senior Deputy, Paramedic, or that's right, the troopers are not troopers, they're senior officers. So basically the second rank of the department. They can't just be random ass deputies and cadets coming over. But they'll be a reserve officer. All reserves officers are equivalent to a senior officer. They do have the opportunity to assist in the chain of command of any subdivisions if the opportunity presents itself. And so that basically means EOU's in need of a team lead. Barry doesn't know who he wants to pick. We have a reserve officer that's really good. Barry could appoint that reserve officer to run that EOU team if he so desired. So this is what I keep talking about when I say EOU, things of that nature. So you have, we have 4 at the moment. OCS, the Office of Correctional Security, that's what Barry does. EOU, FAT, and SSU are all within OCS. So EOU is the Emergency Operations Unit. They oversee special departmental operations such as special transports, hostage rescue, riot suppression. They're mainly the ones that have the firearms, less than weak weapons, critical incident response, and protective vests. Fugitive Apprehension Team, this one's pretty short and sweet. They conduct field arrest operations of high-risk parole violators, absconders, as well as prison escapees. Special Services Unit, they conduct major criminal investigations and prosecutions, criminal apprehension efforts of prison escapees and parolees wanted for serious and violent felonies. Primary Departmental Gang Management Unit conducts complex gang-related investigations of inmates and parolees suspected of criminal gang activity. An Administrative, Investigative, and Law Enforcement Liaison Unit. So these guys are the ones that interact with the PD and SD the most, as well as the highway. They're essentially our prison investigators. So they're working with the lifers, trying to get them figured out what they're doing, who they're not doing. While FAT is dealing with the high-risk parole violators, absconders, and high-risk prison escapees, these guys are usually the ones who will go and get the regular prison escapees. Which really means, in practice, these guys go together to get the prison escapees. Parole operations, that's essentially what DJ he's running. So this kind of outlines that. The Division of Adult Parole Operations is responsible for protecting the community by enabling parole agents to play an active role in the local community's public safety plans. Pretty much it's just it wraps up parole in one big ball. Office of Internal Affairs, that's exactly what you think Internal Affairs is. Yeah. Personnel Service, they're essentially the it's customer service is the legitimate name of it, which is wild to me. But they just handle employee health, employee well-being, pay and benefits, things of that nature. They're essentially their human resources, but they go by personnel services. So bonuses, work events, any kind of any deal like that is going to run through OPS.
Bring a prisoner to work will be a good day, you know.
So, question about going to 11 something. It's like that prison escapees. We're really gonna have like escapees ever?
I had 2 last night.
In the last 2 days.
Oh, damn it.
So this is just policies and things of that nature. I would recommend giving these a read. I'm going to briefly touch on it. When we can, we're going to do the license plates for your cars. I have the ability to do that. So we're going to change your staff cars to be basically your unit number. Speaking of, that's also changing. We're going to go down to three digit badge numbers instead of the 4-digit numbers. That's just for organizational sake.
I already picked mine.
So all of your plates are going to say like DOC, then your badge number, so that way we know who you are when something inevitably happens. We just look at the car instead of having to pull up the the DMV and try to determine who the car is registered to. Self-attaching policy. The big deal here, SADCR personnel are not allowed at any time to self-attach to police department or sheriff's office call unless dispatched or meet exceptions outlined in the SADCR mutual aid agreement, which we are working on. So, you know, if you're EOU and you get dispatched there, that's fine. Or the call meets the exceptions that we'll be outlining with the sheriff's department, police department for a mutual aid agreement, and that's really just going to be riot calls, things of that nature. Outside of this, do not at any point in time self-attach to police department, sheriff's office calls. Don't respond to that. Uniform policy, it's pretty much just wear your Class A, B, or C with jacket if not wearing a subdivision uniform. Patrol log, that's the thing that we're kind of touching on here shortly. So we're going to attempt it. We'll see how it goes. This is a trial phase. Please do not take this and say this is permanent. We are going to try it. With the new bonus policy that we're doing, we are going to attempt our best to do just a short little patrol log. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to write a paragraph or a book, sorry. We do want at least 4 sentences just so we know you didn't just bullshit. But it could be as simple as, you know, went on duty, circled the block, nothing happened. And we'd be happy with that. It's just so that we know what you did while you were on duty. That's the whole purpose. That's this whole deal. Is you just, hey, this is what I did while I was in jail. This goes further into that reserve officer deal. So the way that this will work, those reserve officers, though they are senior officers, it requires any available SADCR full-time senior officers to be called first. If they are unavailable, will be attached once they are available and will assume command. So until that point, the reserve officers will take that command of that individual. And then this wraps it up. The only thing we're doing is the field training program. It's ran by the Office of Training and Professional Development. Those are basically this is like further training. So, you know, outside of the regular academies, you're not expected to attend these if you don't want to, but these are just basically like touch-up trainings on advanced knowledge and things like that to try and help you guys out. Like I said, you're not required to show up to this, but it does show your COC that you're here to help the department. And when it comes time for promotions, that might put you above the rest. Now the big one, Officer of the Week. We're going to start doing that starting this this coming Sunday. So this coming Sunday, we'll pick an Officer of the Week. And the way this will work is the Officer of the Week will get a $5,000 bonus and first pick of assignment. So when you first clock in of a day, you'll be able to say, you know, I really want to do the roamer, and so you'll be done. You'll be put on the roamer and anything of that nature as well. Like I said, that $5,000 bonus. Reserve members will get $2,500 and the second pick after the full time. What's up?
We're gonna have a channel in the facts for the Officer of the Week, and whoever gets it's gonna have their mugshot in there every week. So for those that see the same face 3 weeks in a row, that means step it up and work harder. Love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That being said, that wraps up the whole document. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, things of that nature?
Oh, there's another thing we didn't talk about that's not in here. You need to add a canine. Hello.
Right. I turned that over to Mr. Ernest here. He wrote that. That's his thing.
Hello.
Real quick, what was your question, Michael?
I'm gonna have to deny that.
I believe he may have asked already.
Mike.
You can throw a rank structure in there, can't hurt.
Yeah, I will do that as well. I'll be honest, I spent the last 2 weeks putting this together and changing it and then finishing it and then changing it again because I wasn't happy with it, and then I just kind of like last night went on a nicotine fueled adventure and just wrapped it up. It was like, okay, this is good enough. So the rank structure didn't put in there.
You guys heard my question though?
No, I didn't hear anything you said.
Okay. I think it's already asked, how are we gonna do like job postings, who controls what and stuff like that? Like ranks?
So that'll all be outlined. Yeah, that'll all be outlined. And Nico went ahead and just posted the internal applications without like waiting, like I told him to. So they are a work in progress. They're wrong. They will be fixed. Everything will be fine. Just bear with me while I go through and fix it at a later date. Any other questions before we turn it over to Ernest to do his K9 review? What's going on there? Okay.
I can
Ernest,
train
on you,
well.
brother.
Okay, I gotta find it. Fuck, I sent it to you, so let me just look at her DMs. Very good, very good. Got it. Okay, with my luck, my screen is not gonna share. That's the wrong one. No, thing. You guys see that? Yes, very good.
Yes, we can see it. You're fine.
Very good. Excellent. So, A9, as you all know, for those that don't know, it's something that Peterson has always ran. So we are going to bring it to the DOC. That being said, it is going to be locked at the rank of Senior Correction Officer or higher. Command still needs to all go through it to approve it, but I don't care what they say, it's approved. Sorry, class. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is off topic. Kind of for Warden. When are the Vipers coming in? Is anybody know when the Vipers are coming in? Or?
Yeah, I've been talking with Cholo and everybody else, trying to figure out what we can do to get the lifers rocking. The big thing we're waiting on is for Proctor to fix the jail script. As far as like the actual script is supposed to have like a schedule for the prisoners to follow, and it turns the prison into like a huge interactable event, and it is not working. So a lot of them have not wanted to come in. We are getting them potentially very soon if the brand will ever fucking do their shit. So I would say give us a week or two while we try and figure out what the fuck they're doing, and we'll go from there.
Take your time. And then the last thing, I was at the Davis massacre on Perez.
Thank you.
We got our main. Is there any? And they always talked about like practicing riot controls. Is there any way we can practice a riot control? No, or not?
Yeah, so that'll be something that we handle with EOU and things of that nature, since they'll be the ones primarily responding to that. But we will do a department-wide riot control training once we get things ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that too. For instance, last night, of course, we get the alerts from all PD or whatever, but there was a big shooting down at Davis last night, and I sat there and debated on if I should go down there and transport a couple to the hospital because it went on forever. So I was wanting to know if we could go a little more into detail right there on what we're capable of. I mean, if they're down, they can't holler at us, but you know, it was bad last night.
So that's one of the things that I was talking about, where we're waiting to outline in that mutual aid agreement what the DOC is like. Okay, now you can respond.
Okay.
But the big deal right now is pretty much just wait until they call for you.
We're around
Any
tomorrow
other-
if anyone wants to train me too, but right now I don't like that.
All good.
Also, I'm not going to go through the entire SOP for K9. What I'm going to do is just put the guidelines or what is the requirement to join K9. And then from there, those that do come in can read up on the SOP on themselves because we're going to go through it with their training anyways. But on a good note, K9 is around. So if you're interested, see myself
Helicopter
as
for
Senior.
search and retrieval.
It's probably easier that way than going.
Did I just lose internet connection, or did he lose connection?
I think he lost it.
What are trainings happening?
So we are we're getting some trainings done up here shortly. As far as official things, we were waiting for this to get wrapped up. The big thing right now is that we're just getting everything situated. But once we get all that ready to rock and roll, the actual training itself will be very shortly. We'll do another academy class for you and a few others.
One more thing. The only way we can check our logs to see what inmates we have currently is what I found to be up at the front desk where you can phone them. Is there a way we could get that interaction put somewhere in the back that we could reach a little easier?
So you have
check that, right?
Yes, it does, and you do have jail menu now. The only thing you don't have is the ability to actually jail with the jail menu. We are getting that fixed. So that is something that we will have very shortly. We're just waiting on Cronter to take the time to do it. But we will have that ability very, very shortly. But if you do /jail menu, you can view current inmates, and you'll see who's actively awake and in jail.
Okay.
Also, another thing we're gonna do for the time being, seeing the guns are gonna be, for those that do get a gun, we're gonna rename your gun to your badge number, like that when we do put it in the communal locker there, guns won't get mixed up with anyone.
We're getting personal lockers. It's just taking some time in there, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I mean for the time being.
Thing.
I know everybody has a personal gun.
Fine idea.
I will go get us markers, and I'm gonna put it in the inventory that we're gonna put on the in the locker rooms there by the main entrance when you come in.
Any final comments, questions, concerns regarding the SOP? Fantastic.
Also, before everybody goes, our DMs are always open. Don't be shy. If you need anything, reach out. I may not always be around in city, but my DMs and my phone is like a reach away. So do not be shy with any questions. Just keep in mind, 11 to 5 a.m. Monday to Friday, I'm sleeping. Fuck off.
Sweet. I mean, that being said, that pretty well takes care of everything. Keep an eye out as the DLC continues to grow. You know, like I said, we're getting everything figured out. We're getting things ready to rock and roll. We are going to be changing as well. I have a meeting with the Chief Justice potentially later tonight to get our stuff situated so that we can. Oh, hello there. I'll invite you to speak. You kind of missed a little bit here. Good to see you. You're fine. To kind of catch you up, I'm going to send you the SOP here. All we did was basically cover this. Just give it a read, and if you have any questions, you know, feel free to DM me. Big thing for you though, because I know when you got hired, we talked about it. I talked with Prince. We're gonna start getting DOH trained individuals up here. They'll be hired by the DOC, but their medical training and all that will be handled by the DOH. So we will have prison doctors that are DOC employed. And I know you were interested in that, I believe.
Very.
So get with me at a later date when we get to talking with Prince to get all that situated.
Okay.
Anyways, you kind of joined at like literally the last second, but we are. You're fine. I have a meeting, like I was saying anyway. I have a meeting with the Chief Justice later tonight, potentially, or potentially tomorrow. That'll be us kind of conferring on the direction of bailiff and prison transports. So the DOC may be handling all bailiff interactions with the court from now on. Sheriff's Department can kiss my ass. Anyway, just keep your head up. You know, I'm not gonna beat you guys to death for not showing up and being in city at the moment. I know things are a little rough right now and kind of boring when you just stand around waiting for somebody to get arrested. Like I said, we're just waiting on Crother to fix things for the lifers start coming around.
What an amazing meeting.
So, anyway.
Anybody got anything else? Speak now or forever hold your thoughts. Done.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna steal the command guys for a minute here.
Where are we going?
Oh, Boone's gone. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we're not gonna. I'll get with you guys later. We'll poke your brain. Y'all have fun.
All right.
Peterson, get with me at some point in the next day or two. We'll get you all onboarded.
Let's do tomorrow.
Tomorrow's fine.
What time?
Fuck, it doesn't matter to me. I'm off tomorrow.
Okay, it's gonna be like 5 p.m. Eastern.
That's fine.
Done. All right. Anybody else got anything else? Last chance. Very good. That being said, you all have a good night.
Rah.
Nico, you on duty? What's going on?
Oh, not much.
Right on. Well, that was quick, painless, and easy. I think I'm gonna go down to the city and do a little more decorating on the office. Right on. I love you, honey. I love you more. Do me a favor. YouTube? Like on your TikTok, all that.
7 is going to be going off duty for tonight.
Copy that. Have a good night. I need to find a good set of pants to go with this. Ooh. Nothing really matches.
A nice pair of blue jeans.
Yeah, I could. You got a good point on that. Let me see here. Like those?